So leaseholds in this country have a bit of a mixed reputation. So when we talk about leaseholds, in the vast majority of cases, what people mean are flats where you have to sign a lease agreement. So the question is, what are some common restrictions that are stipulated in these lease agreements that you might want to be aware of that you wouldn't necessarily need to worry about if you were purchasing, say, a freehold? So number one is residential use only, and this catches quite a few people out. So for example, let's say you see a nice city centre apartment, you might think, okay, I'll probably live in there for a year or two, and then I can Airbnb it out and make a good amount of profit. Well, in a lot of lease agreements, Airbnbing out your property is actually not allowed, or even operating any sort of business on the premises. So number two is not being allowed to have pets. This one is a little bit less common, but does crop up from time to time. Now, I completely understand it can be very surprising for some, because after all, you've paid your money, you've gone through the whole legal process, you put a lot of money down for your deposit, and you're making mortgage payments, you've purchased your own property. How can then someone tell you how to live, whether or not you're allowed to keep a pet with you? Isn't that the whole point of buying a property and not having a landlord telling you? Realistically, even though this is a restriction, in most cases you can actually get a consent to keep pets in your property so long as you tell the freeholder. It can still be annoying for some that you have to ask anyway, but something you do need to be aware of because it is in the contract. So number four is smoking. This will probably be stipulated in pretty much every lease agreement if it's like an apartment or a complex of flats. Pretty obviously, because if you smoke cigarettes or something a little bit stronger, it will get into the ventilation system and it will basically flood the whole thing into the hallways, everything, and everyone will get the smell of it, and it's a fire hazard, so basically it's not really allowed. So these are just some of the common things that come up in lease agreements. If you're purchasing a flat, which is another reason why you should go through your specific lease agreements very carefully, because almost certainly there'll be a lot more than these, and a lot of these will be unique to your specific deal.